The message from the private investigator was simple. Come to the office at 7 p.m. sharp. Bring nothing but yourself. It's important. I stared at it for 10 minutes, phone trembling in my hand. The kind of trembling that comes when the ground beneath you shifts but hasn't yet collapsed. My wife, Claire, was in the kitchen humming to herself, pouring wine into 2 glasses like it was any other Tuesday night. She slid one toward me, smiling with the same easy warmth that used to melt me. But lately, that smile felt borrowed, practiced, like she had one version for me and another for someone else. And that was why I'd hired the investigator in the first place. Suspicion. It wasn't one moment, but a series of them that made me reach out for help. Claire started working late more often. She used to text me constantly, little updates or memes that kept our inside jokes alive. Now hours would pass with nothing. When I asked, she'd sigh. James, I'm swamped, okay? Can you not turn this into a thing? Then came the perfume. A new one I hadn't bought her. Stronger, bolder, more seductive. She said a coworker gave it to her. And the lies. Small ones easy to catch. She'd say she was at yoga, but her mat was still in the closet. She claimed to be out with her sister, but her sister posted an Instagram story from a city 2 states away. My gut whispered what my heart refused to admit. She's with someone else. So I called a PI. His name was Walter Green. His voice was gravelly matter-of-fact, the kind of tone that suggested he'd seen far too many broken marriages to sugarcoat anything. I'll find out, he said. But when I do, you better be ready for the truth. The meeting. Now, here I was, standing in front of a nondescript office building with the investigator's text still burning in my pocket. My chest was tight, my palms damp. I pushed open the heavy door and climbed the narrow staircase. When I reached the meeting room, I froze. It wasn't just Walter waiting. There were 6 other men seated around a long wooden table. All of them looked like me. Nervous, hollow-eyed, trying to look stronger than they felt. The air smelled faintly of stale coffee and dread. Walter stood at the head of the table, a folder in his hand. His eyes swept the room. Gentlemen, he said, voice rough. I'm sorry you're here. But you all need to see this. The reveal. He started laying out photographs like cards in a poker game. Each photo showed a woman with a man who wasn't her husband. In cars. In restaurants. Side hotels. Every time a photo landed, one of the men flinched. A fist clenched. A jaw tightened. Someone muttered a curse under his breath. Then Walter placed one in front of me. Claire. Her hair tied up the way she used to when we first dated. Laughing. Her hand resting on another man's thigh in a booth at some dimly lit bar. The man's face wasn't clear at first, angled away from the camera. Walter slid the next photo. This time the man's face was clear. My stomach dropped. It was Mark, my neighbor. A guy who'd borrowed my tools. Who'd grilled burgers with me on the 4th of July. Who'd played catch with my son in the yard. The room tilted. My breath came in shallow gasps. Walter's voice cut through the ringing in my ears. This is bigger than you think. These women, your wives, aren't just stepping out on you. They're involved in something together. Same places, same times, same men sometimes. The men around me exchanged looks of stunned disbelief. One slammed his hand on the table. Another just put his head in his hands. I stared at Claire's smile in the photo, the smile I thought belonged only to me, and realized it had been rented out like cheap real estate. The aftermath. Driving home felt like steering through a fog. My mind kept replaying the photos, her laughter frozen on glossy paper, her hand on his leg. When I pulled into the driveway, the lights in our house glowed warm and inviting. Through the window, I saw Claire moving around the living room, tidying up, humming again. Normal. So normal it was almost grotesque. I sat in the car for nearly 20 minutes, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. Part of me wanted to storm in, throw the photos on the table, scream until my voice broke. Another part wanted to just drive away and never look back. Instead, I walked inside. "Hey, you're late," Claire said, glancing up with that same warm smile. I saved you some dinner. I studied her face, searching for cracks, for guilt, but she played the role too well. Thanks, I muttered, dropping my bag by the door. We ate in silence. Every chew felt like betrayal lodged in my throat. The confrontation. Later that night, while she brushed her teeth, I sat on the edge of the bed with Walter's photos in my lap. My hands shook as I shuffled through them. When she came out, towel wrapped around her hair, she froze. Her eyes flicked to the photos. The color drained from her face. James, I can explain. The oldest cliché in the book. And yet it still cut like a blade. Explain what? I asked, my voice low, trembling. How my wife spends nights laughing with a man who mows his lawn 20 feet from ours. How you look at him the way you used to look at me. Her lips parted, then closed. She looked cornered, like an animal ready to lash out or run. It's not what you think, she whispered. I laughed. Hollow, broken sound. Then what is it, Claire? Because these pictures don't lie. That smile doesn't lie. Tears welled in her eyes. I didn't mean for it to happen. Mark, he listened. He made me feel seen again. I didn't want to hurt you. I shook my head, biting back the scream clawing at my throat. You didn't want to hurt me. You've been tearing me apart piece by piece. Every time you came home smelling like him, every time you lied. You didn't just hurt me, Claire. You killed us. She reached for me, but I recoiled. Don't, I hissed. Don't you dare touch me. The decision. I didn't sleep that night. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, listening to her quiet sobs beside me. Every sound felt like nails scratching my chest. By morning I knew. Over coffee I said the words that sealed it. I want a divorce. Her spoon clattered against the counter. James, please. No, I cut in, voice steady now. You made your choice. And now I'm making mine. For once, there was no fight left in her. Just a hollow, stunned silence. Epilogue. 2 months later, I found myself back in Walter's office. Same room, different night. Some of the other men were there too. We didn't talk much. Just exchanged nods of grim recognition. Like soldiers who'd survived the same battle. We weren't friends. We didn't need to be. But in that silence, we understood each other. Walter set down another stack of photos, new clients, new husbands walking the same path we had. I left before he could show me. I didn't need to see more broken hearts laid bare. As I stepped into the night air, I realized something. Betrayal doesn't just break you, it changes you. Carves out the person you thought you were and leaves someone harder, sharper behind. I wasn't the same man who walked into that meeting room weeks ago. I was someone who knew the cost of trust. Someone who had survived the shattering. And though the scars would always be there, I knew one thing for certain. Claire would never own another piece of me again.